Hello, everyone, and welcome to Simply Cards by Kathy. I'm Kathy Ondas, and today is January 20th, 2023. Boy, the month is flying by. I'm excited to be here today. I have a fun card, and I think it's really pretty. We are going to be using the Desert Details stamp set today. And I have a lot of tips and tricks to show you along the way because it's a distinctive stamp and a couple other things. I have a couple things to tell you, and we're going to get started. Just remember, celebration is going on. If you have a list of things that you've been wanting, this is a perfect time to get it. You can join Stampin' Up! Three different ways. For $99, you get to pick $175 worth of product from either catalog or combination of both. The second and third option is for $129. You join or get to pick $175 of products, again, from either catalog, but you also get to pick a mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. You either can pick a white one or you can pick the new boho blue one that is available just during celebration. So several ways. Don't let joining stop you. You don't have to sell a thing. You get to join. After you join, you save 20% off on all future purchases and for at least 3 months. If you don't purchase $300 of more products over right now would be by the end of July, you just go back to being a customer. So no loss. It's a great value and it's a win for you. So I'm going to stop talking and let's start stamping. I'm going to put this over to my desktop. We've been having some problems this morning, technically, so I hope we stay okay. So I'm going to show you the card we're going to make. I don't usually do this, but I just think it's so pretty. And we are going to be using lots of pieces, parts from this suite. And then I'm going to give you some tips for how to do some of the things that are on this card. So I'm going to bring in my mini catalog, and hopefully you can see this pretty well. This is the Delicate Desert Suite. It is on page 42 of the mini catalog, and this is on page 43. You get the Desert Detail bundle, and thank goodness now Stampin' Up! Is naming the stamp set and the dies the same. You get these beautiful gold faceted backed sequins. You get some pale papaya velvet trim. We're going to be using these beautiful dry brushed metallic. You get 4 sheets, two each of 2 designs. I'm going to show you those. To be honest with you, I can't tell the difference between them in colors. So that's probably me. And we're going to be using this paper. So let me go ahead and bring that paper in for you to see. We are going to be using the Desert Details paper. And I'm just going to spread it out here for you because just beautiful, almost like water painted designs. I have a baby golden retriever here next to me who is a stealer, not a retriever, and I'm sure is going to try to get up and take something off this desk. So here are the beautiful papers. Aren't they gorgeous? And if I flip them over, you have like brushed designs, you have some geometric, you have, oops, let me move this over. Some more brush designs. I love this. It's almost like a sunset. And then just so really pretty. We're going to set this off. I'm going to bring in those metallic papers. They're gorgeous, and I know they shine. I apologize for that. I can't tell the difference when they say 2 or 4 different designs. I pulled them all out. It's supposed to be Cajun Craze, Petal Pink, some bronze, some gold, and this is supposed to be soft succulent. Um, so I think this light part here is soft succulent, but none of us can figure out what color this is. It looks like a blue, but it doesn't really match any of our blues, but it's gorgeous to use no matter what. So I'm going to set that off. And the last thing I want to show you we're going to be using is I'm using this soft succulent, the fine shimmer paper. Now this comes with the Fancy Flora suite, or you can buy it separately, but I'm using that for some of my leaves or branches on my card. And then I'm using the brushed metallic copper foil. This is in page 129 of the annual catalog. And this fine shimmer is on page 15 of the new mini. So I just wanted to make sure you knew what I'd be using. And we're going to get started. Now I want to open these up and I want to show you the different stamps. These are cling stamps. And you can see I have several of them pulled out here to show, to use. But it is a distinctive stamp set, which means you get variations in color on your images because it is distinctive. And I'm going to show you 2 different ways to stamp that today. And then the other thing I want to show you are the dies. Now you have 2 dies. This one cuts out. I'm going to pull in the piece that we're going to use for this today. It'll cut out an image like this. Now you can frame it in by using the second image and placing it inside of it. So you can actually create a frame, or you can use this by itself and just have a pretty piece of cut basic white or cardstock to create on. You have this little diamond shape. This is the small flower that matches. Now this I played with just yesterday, and I want to show you how it cuts out. It's always nice to know how the dies cut out. And if you are here with me live, please leave me a comment and let me know where you're from. I would love to say hello. So this is how this cuts out. So I cut these out even so you could actually lay these across a card, maybe weave some ribbon in between them. So that's that. And then this one creates a really pretty edge. Now I just cut it out of Calypso Coral to show you, or yeah, Calypso Coral. But you could cut it out of the foil or these brushed metallic sheets. So a really pretty almost southwestern edge. And then these, I will bring in what we're using for our card. I cut this out of the copper. Oops, sorry about that. And also out of that shimmer paper. So really pretty dies. And then this cuts your large image. So I'm going to set these off and we're going to bring in our paper. So we are using Calypso Coral, and this is a standard 8.5 by 11 cut in half. This is 5.5 by 8.5 scored at 4 1/4. We're going to go ahead and fold this and burnish it with our bone folder. I hope you have some fun plans for the weekend. This week went by super quick, or it seemed to. I typically burnish on both sides. I just find my card lays flatter for me. Okay, and then I have a piece of our designer series paper, and I do like that. It just reminds me of a sunset. So this is cut at 4 by 5 1/4. And we're going to go ahead and adhere this on. I'm going to use my multi-purpose glue. I'm a green glue type of girl. And we're just going to adhere this on. Now, when we, when we first, when I was at On Stage and we first got the catalog and I saw this, I'm going to put that over, the Desert Details bundle. That was like one of my first choices, that and the Sweet Citrus. I just love both of them. Okay. I'm going to use this as a background. I love the colors together. So we're going to go ahead and adhere this. Now not going to pop anything up. I'm going to go ahead and leave this down. And I'm just going to make sure I add a little bit on my ends and right here on the tips. Now I do have the fine tip that I probably should have pulled out, but I'm pretty comfortable using our regular green glue. And that's just going to go down in the middle here. Okay. Now I'm going to pick that up and hopefully you can see the detail that's cut in to that. So it doesn't cut it out, but it actually kind of outlines the zigzags. So really pretty. So let me just kind of slide this down a little bit more. Okay, we're going to set that off to the side. So we already have, I did some pre-cutting because I wanted to show you some things to do, how to stamp that distinctive image. And I cut 2 of each of these. These are out of the soft succulent and these are the brushed copper. Now, originally, when I made this card, I only wanted to use 1 of each, but I had put it down so far in that corner that the image actually covered most of it up. So I ended up adding 2 more. So today we're going to try just doing 2 and see how that looks. And if we need to, we have 2 to add. So in order to, what I did is I wanted these together but offset a little bit. So I wanted them to kind of intertwine like that. So what I did is took a glue dot and I'm going to adhere them together on the bottom. So let me grab my pick tool and my glue dots, and you can see they're pretty wrinkled up because this is something the puppy, my 6-month-old Steeler, took and was running around the house with yesterday. So just going to put my glue dot right there on the edge, and I'm going to match those bottoms but with a little bit of a twist because I want them offset. So kind of like that. Now, if I raise this up a little bit, and I do have just a die cut of this, I think that might be enough. So we're going to try it with just these 2. So the idea would be to glue this down and to actually raise it up off that corner. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Now I am going to glue it down, and what I'm going to do is turn it over, and I am going to use my green glue again, and I'm going to pull out my silicone mat just so I don't get it all over the base here, so that then I get it on my card. So let me pull that out. And I'm just going to go around the edges and dab. And I'm pretty light-handed with the glue. I think when you've worked with it long enough, you kind of learn you don't need to press hard, and you can just kind of dab to get it down. Now I want to make sure I get my edges down because I don't want those sticking up. They look pretty that way, and they give the card a little bit more dimension and depth, but I don't want them to pull off. I don't want them to bend back when they go in an envelope. So I'm just going to go ahead and add. And now I'm even adding glue to it's the soft succulent that's up front on the little bits that I can get to. Okay, so and we're going to bring this in. And I'm going to go ahead and raise it up just about like that and press down. Now I'm going to show you a trick. We're going to leave this set. I have a block of granite, and sometimes, or a lot of times actually, if I have something I want to make sure that stays down, and especially since this is one on top of another, and they're both pretty shiny metallic type of papers, I take a block, and this is from Home Depot or Lowe's, and I just set it down and I move it off to the side and I let it sit there while I go on and work while I'm doing something else. So next thing is we're going to stamp. So I have two pieces. I'm using shimmer white for my large flower, and I have it mounted. This you can mount and stamps beautifully, just like this. But I'm also going to show you how to do it in the Stamparatus. And the reason being, when I first made this card, I wanted my image a little bit darker. And because it isn't photopolymer and it's cling, just dropped the dies. Let me pick those up. Okay, because it's cling, it's not easy to go back over and stamp. And then I'm going to show you the difference in the two images. So we're going to use our Calypso Coral, and because this is a larger stamp and I want to make sure I get coverage, I turn it over and I stamp, and I just move all the way around to make sure I get good coverage. Okay, that should be good. And we're just going to stamp down, and I hold it there for just a minute and pick straight up. So look at that image. Look how pretty that is with the distinctiveness. You get the dark on the inside, and then it kind of lightens as you move out. So gorgeous image. Now I'm going to show you doing it the Stamparatus, because when I made my first card, I wanted a little bit darker image. So I'm going to bring the Stamparatus in here, and we have another piece of shimmer white. And I'm going to put mine up right in the corner here and secure it down here with my magnets. Now let's clean my stamp pretty quickly here so I don't transfer any of that ink. Okay, and then I'm going to set this right about here. And we're going to close this and just pick it up. And we're good. So now I'm going to pull this in on an angle for you so you can see it. Let's bring it down a little bit. And I'm going to ink the same way. I'm going to turn my pad over and just move around and make sure I have good coverage. Now, give it a good push. And I kind of move around the stamp and bring it back. Isn't that's a pretty image? It looks just very much like this one, but I want it a little bit darker. So what I'm going to do is re-ink. And we're going to restamp it. And the nice thing about the Stamparatus is because you are in the same place, it's so easy, and there's nothing you're going to do to wreck your image. I'm going to bring in my little tool here and just give it a good push. And look at that image. Let me move this off to the side so you can see. So here's what the Stamparatus stamped twice, and you still have, look at that detail. And then here's with me stamping, just with my block. It's just a whole different image. So I'm going to run over and I'm going to cut this one out because I want to use the dark one. And let's just get this in place, and I will be back in a second. And I'm going to hold it down with a piece of tape here, and I'll be right back. So here's our die cut, and this tape just comes right off, and here's our image. All right, so we're going to bring our card back in here. And look how nice, I took the granite off. Look how nice that is holding and down. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to pop this up with Stampin' Dimensionals. So let's bring some of those in. And I'm going to bring in my scissors, and I typically cut my Stampin' Dimensionals in half. I just find I get into some of the smaller places a little bit easier, and they go a little further. So we're going to go ahead and just put several of these. I want to make sure that my edges of my flower don't bend. So I'm going to make sure I hit plenty of places. If you are watching, thank you so much for your support. If you've been with me and coming back, and if you're new, I'm so happy that you found me. Hit that little subscribe button, and if you ring that little bell right next to it, you'll get notified whenever I go live or when a new video is posted. And I'd love, if you enjoyed this video, if you'd give me a thumbs up. That'll help me grow my channel. And feel free to share the video with others. So let's go ahead and remove these. Oops. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and place this. I want the corner to peek out a little bit. I love that color, that foil. And we're just going to go ahead and lay that right there. Now for my greeting, I went ahead and I heat embossed. So I did use the shimmer white paper. I had some left on the edge from when I die cut, and I heat embossed with Versamark and the copper embossing powder, which looks really pretty. And I did die cut this using the Stylish Shapes dies. It's one of the banners in there. So I die cut that with that. And then what I did is cut this banner in half. So, now you can cut it with the scissors. I don't do anything straight. So I am going to place this in my trimmer, and I just cut right down the center. And then we're going to come in, and I'm going to add some glue to the back of both of these, and we're going to adhere this to the underside of our what am I doing? Wrong thing. Sorry about that. We're going to add the glue to the underside of our sentiment. Oops. And I just want it to peek out that like the embossed edge with the dots. So I just want that to peek out on the edge. So just going to go ahead and press down. And we're going to do the same thing with the other one. I often will, when I'm using banners like this, I will often cut a second one and cut it in half like you see here, so that I can outline it. I think it just kind of makes it stand out a little bit more, and just gives it a little bit more detail and appeal. Oops, didn't press down hard enough. Kind of been one of those mornings. If any of you watch Connect to Create with Pat Fairless and I, where we're on every Thursday, one or the other of us as a team, we do videos on techniques. and we have access so that we can post our videos to each other. Well, yesterday and today we've been having some problems. So right as I want to go on with you, I think Pat is on with StreamYard working out some technical details, and I went off the air. So I had to go back in. So we're so far so good. So I'm happy about that because I was afraid we'd go off the air while I was doing the demonstration for you, the video. So let's remove these. Okay. So a couple things. We could put it up here, or we could put it down here. I kind of like it kind of almost lined up with that arrow and just carry it across the middle. So let's just do that and make sure I do get it straight. That should look pretty good. All right, so there's our front. Now let's do our inside. So for the inside, we have a piece of 4 by 5 1/4. And I did cut a strip of that, of our foil paper, and I'm going to mount it right here on the edge. So let's go ahead and, before I do that, let's stamp our greeting. So I have the greeting. I had "Let the fun begin," and then "I'm sending warm rays your way." Could go for anything. Maybe somebody going on vacation, maybe a birthday, just whatever. So we're going to go ahead and ink this up in our Calypso Coral. And I'm going to line this up to try to get it as straight as possible. And we're just going to stamp down. Got a little something there, so we can flip it over. That's why we have 2 sides to every piece of paper. But I am going to clean it off to make sure I don't get that again. And I'm just going to wipe it with my sponge. Now, if I do that, I do stamp off on the paper just to get the moisture off. And I'm going to re-ink. And this time I'm not going to press so hard. Okay, so let's do this. Did it again, but I'm going to go with it. I'll figure something out. So we have our piece of foil. We're going to go ahead and adhere this to the bottom of our card. Now, we could have even used this for our card. I don't know what you think. Let's go with this. And just down on the edge, and I'm going to slide it a little bit. And it's just a touch long, so I'm going to flip it over and trim it off. And then I did go ahead and I cut a small flower out. I stamped it and die cut it. And I'm just going to go ahead and adhere it here. Or maybe this is how we cover up that spot. Let's adhere it there. It's always a way to fix your mistakes. So let's do that. And now we are ready to go ahead and adhere this to the inside of our card. So fun. We'll be using this. I'll be doing lots more with this stamp set and beautiful paper. And I was really excited to share this with you today. So I hope it inspires you to do some crafting and stamping this weekend with whatever you have. If you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and you need a catalog, I would love to have the opportunity to earn your business. Just click on the lower right hand of my banner on YouTube, it'll take you to my website where it says contact me, and send me an email with your name and address, and I'll be happy to pop a catalog in the mail to you. So here's our finished card. Love to know what you think. And I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe, healthy. Make sure to have some fun and relax. And I'll be back with you Tuesday morning at 11 a.m. See you soon.